Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the CinemaBuns Podcast, episode 3 to be exact.
Can you believe that we made it to episode 3? I think it's a miracle, personally. Today we're going to be talking about the accessibility of being a filmmaker in the modern day era.
I'm Drake. That's Quinn. That's Brandon. We're really picking up steam. Hold on to your butts.
CinemaBuns Podcast.
Excited to be here with you fine gentlemen. What do you got in mind?
Back again.
Well, I think we should do what we always do, which is start with a beverage.
A beverage.
And it's Quinn's turn today, and he brought us
Me?
a surprise.
Now, which beverage might I have brought? Let's see.
I hope it's good,
I hope it's lemonade.
because Drake's was, not going to lie, could have been better. Still
I'll
good,
give you
though.
that. I didn't make it.
All right, so this is
I'm gonna pretend you did.
Burnside Blood Orange Ale from Medicine Hat Brewing.
All right.
Okay, I love Medicine Hat. I like the can.
Yeah, I've
We're on
actually
good-
heard really good things about Medicine Hat Brewing.
Really?
So here's the can.
Beer with a natural blood orange puree.
Ooh,
Yeah.
this will be good.
kinda
And as promised, we are going to keep the beer sequence short today. We think
Short-ish.
We're gonna try. Just like half an hour of talking about beer. That should be good, right?
Just a half hour.
Just a quick half hour. Oh,
Oh, that was nice.
gotta love that.
Let's do mine. Well, that just went
That
everywhere.
just exploded on me.
It's hard to do it one-handed. I think that might have been my favorite.
That was the perfect
That's
sound.
fantastic.
We're getting really good at opening beers here.
Yeah.
Might be a talent. Wait, guys. Cheers.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. All right.
That's quite nice.
Drake's gonna hate me for this comment.
Oh boy.
Go ahead.
There we go.
It kind of tastes like kokanee.
You're fired.
I'll let myself out.
Yeah,
That is-
just go.
That's okay. I'm sorry, Medicine Hat Brewing. Only one of us thinks that. Only one of us. I'm sure.
Still good. Hey, I like kokanee.
You do
You're
like
You're
kokanee. I guess
forgetting
for you that it is
That's
kind
a
of a
compliment.
compliment. Yeah. But only if it's the right temperature, right?
It's got to be left out in the cold winter snow for like an hour, so there's just little ice chunks, and that is perfect.
Pulling a kokanee straight out of the snowbank is definitely a vibe.
There's something about it.
Yeah, that sparkling blue
any other
can
beer.
brushing the ice off of it. Like, yeah.
Oh.
But granted, that would be fantastic with any can of beer.
Yeah.
This is
Doesn't
true.
matter
This
which
is
one.
true.
I really like this. I like how the blood orange is like, it's on your tongue, but it's subtle. Mm-hmm. You know,
And the aftertaste, like the orange lingers.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that it lingers.
I'd compare this to Shock Top, which is the the
yes.
other one.
Yes.
So comparing the two of those, this one's got a lot of juiciness to it, but I think there's the sweetness and the depth of the flavor, and like almost got a bit of the pith going on as well. I'd say this better replicates the taste of an orange than a Shock Top. Shock Top is more of like an orange flavored thing.
Yeah.
In comparison to this, which really does taste juicy and fruity.
yeah, it does taste more like an actual orange. Where I find Shock Top is more like kind of artificial, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is more authentic, and to Drake's satisfaction, the more I drink it, the less it tastes like kokanee. So we're on the right track here.
All right. Well, yeah. Medicine Hat Burnside Blood Orange Ale.
Good job.
Yeah, they definitely nailed something with this one. I would recommend this.
Yeah, I'd buy it again.
If anything comes out of this podcast, I think by at least episode 5, we will be beer tasting experts.
I think so.
Yeah, I think
so.
we're getting good at it. You know,
Yeah.
got a lot of good opinions.
We're crushing
except
it, boys.
Drake.
Yeah, we are.
I still have opinions.
All right. Well, let's get started with this, eh? What are we talking about today, Brandon?
But we're going to talk about the accessibility of filmmaking in the modern day era, like we discussed before.
Oh, golly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Heckin' A right there, bud. Let's get her going, eh?
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to get your guys' opinion on this first. So, first question I want to ask you is it cheaper to be a filmmaker nowadays as opposed to 20 years ago?
It's an interesting question.
I mean, the fast answer would you'd have to assume yes, because I mean we were never filmmakers. 20, 30, 40 years ago, right?
Well,
no, I guess.
I did quite a few of my famous YouTube videos that got 5 views each back then.
It is
40 years
interesting.
ago?
Yeah.
I mean, to
40 years
compare
ago,
it to like 40 years ago, that's a completely different thing. But to say 20 years ago is an interesting point because, yes, we actually were making films 20 years ago. Yeah, like back in high school, sitting around uploading stuff from your digital 8 camcorders and Firewire into the IMAX. And using iMovie. Yeah, no, we were making movies back then. That was cost prohibitive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's weird because like I had like a $400 camcorder and it was great. It wasn't professional quality that we have now, obviously. I think if you wanted something like more cinema grade, it was a lot more expensive and harder to do, but if you're just rocking a camcorder, I mean, it wasn't that expensive.
Yeah, well, I remember my high school had a few different cameras, and one of the ones that I got to use was like this little white like rectangle thing with it almost looked like one of the Osmo 360 cameras.
Like a little handheld cutie?
Yeah, it was super small and it just had the lens on the top, and you could shoot in 720p.
Oh, buddy.
Whoa, dude,
Yeah.
that's some like futuristic
I know.
stuff right there.
It also had a really crappy version of slow-mo. I think it
actually-
just filmed in like 40 and then just slowed it down automatically. I don't remember.
That's actually kind of wild because TVs barely had 720p
Yeah.
at the time.
And not to mention YouTube until like 2010. It was like 480. I think it was 240p for the longest time, then 360, and then 480 was like, whoa, 480p. And then I think 2010 they introduced 720p, and that's when everything kind of started looking more clear. Yeah, it was a
That is what
big deal.
HD was called, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just HD. Because like 1080 is full HD. Yeah.
Now 4K is the new standard.
That's crazy.
Flat out answer the question, I'd say, yeah, it's got to be. Well, it's got to be cheaper today, just because if you were starting, and we're just talking about producing a video with your friends, like putting something together, doing some edits to your satisfaction, and then publishing it or putting it somewhere where someone could. Absolutely, it's got to be cheaper, because if you're starting from $0 with zero equipment, the bare minimum, like throwing quality out the window, the bare minimum to get started, acquire gear, and produce the thing. Yeah, it's got to be cheaper today, because you could just go buy a used phone with a halfways decent camera.
Yeah.
That's just it. Like phones record in 4K quality. So
you don't have to buy a camera anymore. Everybody already owns one. They've already got
In
one
their
in their
pockets.
pocket. Like, yeah, obviously you have to buy that, but if you already have it, you know?
I think everyone has a smartphone. It's safe to say, and any new smartphone has incredible capability when it comes to filming.
Yeah.
Well, for the sake of argument, let's take that out of the equation. You've got no smartphone for whatever you're 12 years old. You don't have a smartphone. You don't have your own laptop. You've got $0. I don't know. You're gonna like start a lemonade stand or something from actual zero. I think yes, it's cheaper.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think so. You were talking about what, like 20 years ago or somewhere around there?
Even early 2000s.
Yeah, like cameras existed within the price range that we pay for them now. Obviously, like you need to take into account inflation. But I think that the distance from zero to getting a camera it's the same as it is now, except nowadays the quality of that gear that you can buy is so much better.
And that's the difference, really, is like I think I bought my camera for $500. I don't even remember what quality it filmed at, but that camera compared to any of these cameras here today, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like the difference in quality is ridiculous, and I didn't pay that much for the camera.
And used gear as well. Like if you legitimately don't care about quality at all, you can go on Marketplace and find a digital camera that'll record to a basic SD card for like $20. If you wanted a little bit of an upgrade, you can definitely get someone's outdated Canon Rebel for like 120, right?
And
like
how accessible is buying used gear now compared to that?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, used market. Like what you can get for
It's not just eBay
$50 and under, $200 and under is like, holy cow. And then your hardware for editing and whatever as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Well-
mean, but paying for an editing rig or it used to be like you can't really edit. I mean, 20 years ago, yeah, you'd be using something like iMovie, which if you got an iMac, a lot of the time it would come with it. Like you remember the old like fishbowl, like fish tank looking Macs.
That's how I edited my videos.
Yeah. Man, I remember like using iMovie and having all like the
so much fun,
super cheap looking transitions, but it had transitions and it had built-in sound effects.
Yeah.
And like you could load in your own music and do full-on editing. It was awesome.
I mean, all the classic YouTubers pretty much used iMovie.
Yeah.
You know,
or
that's
Movie
all they
Maker,
needed.
But I never
Movie
actually
Maker.
used Movie Maker.
It was worse.
Yeah.
It was worse.
I don't think it was ever very good.
No, it wasn't.
Which iMac color would you go with today?
Well, the ones that are available now.
No.
Okay, back in the day.
Yeah. If
what were
they
the
did
colors?
a full color line, oh, were you not there?
I mean,
They
I
must
was
have had
there,
like
but
better. They
was
must
I-
have had like newer ones. But can you picture the whole rainbow? There was the pink one and the blue one and the orange one
Yeah.
and the green one. And
I would
thought
I
they
would get
were
the
all
blue
just-
one. I'd get the blue one because to me that's the de facto like iMac.
Yeah, I would go with just classic like silver or gray. Really rep that original look, you know.
I'd have to get the orange. I think
Orange would be cool.
I think nothing like it's not
Just like the beer.
Yeah. I don't think it's the coolest in the rainbow lineup, but for an object to sit on your desk or in your house and just be loudly translucent 2000s electronics, I think the clear gem orange is just something about it.
Yeah, totally.
Well, so we've established that equipment is probably like
Accessible.
much accessible and cheaper nowadays, right? So it's easier to get the gear. What about actually like creating the thing, right? Like having a cast and writing a script, finding locations, like the actual nitty-gritty of creating a short film. Like, do you think that that is more accessible and cheaper?
I think it's pretty much the exact same. In my personal opinion, this is not facts. This is just in my personal opinion. I think it's pretty much. I think it's easier to reach out to people. Like if you want to secure a location, you just go online and message them. So it's easier to get a hold of people. But I'd say your chances of actually securing that location probably the exact same.
Well, I think filmmaking has grown so much over the last because of the accessibility changing, right? And I think because of that, if you go out and you're like, hey, can I use your restaurant to film at? They've probably already been asked that a bunch of times, right? There's probably a bunch of people that also have wanted to film there. So I think they're more likely to be okay with it just because they, filmmaking itself is so popular now.
That's true. Or people on the street just, hey, you okay if I film? Especially like young people. Like not so many years ago, it was kind of uncomfortable and weird to be pointing a camera around,
Yeah.
and people got strange about it. And fair enough. Like even today, like people don't want to be filmed without their knowledge, but it's become a much more
It's normal.
ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous.
Yeah, I
Like,
would agree with that.
It's very normal to see someone walking around filming stuff.
Yeah.
You
It's
don't
kinda
even really
crazy.
think about it.
And it's weird how different it is to be recorded with a phone than an actual big camera.
Yeah.
Like just for like, I'm sure so many people are just when they see that big camera on them, they're like, whoa. But a phone, they're like, oh, whatever.
I feel the opposite. If someone's like pointing a big camera at me, I feel like that's okay. They're
Well, you
they're
know
doing
that
something
it's-
intentional.
that's
It's
true.
going to be like
Important.
broadcasted. It's going to be part of something that has money behind it. Whereas if somebody has it on their phone, it's like, well, that's on social media forever now.
Yeah,
I feel
good
like they're
point.
just trying to make fun of me on TikTok or
And
something.
and it's on their phone, and it's like actually that's a good point.
They have saved footage of you on their personal
I don't like
device.
that. I don't
it's
like
weird,
that.
But it's still a little weird.
As far as locations go, I'm sure they're okay with it because it's also promotion for them.
Yeah.
Which is how businesses survive these days is just social media. So
I mean, it depends. I've actually been in a couple different locations filming, just doing my thing. And the owner didn't immediately feel okay with me filming there. Asked a lot of questions about. He was clearly curious about how much I was going to be earning, and was looking for some way to justify getting a cut. I've been in numerous businesses, and some of those entrepreneurs are pretty shrewd. They don't want to give you anything for free. I'm not saying that's standard. I think a lot of people probably appreciate the free advertising aspect, but there are definitely people out there that if you're filming in here, this is my house.
yeah.
If you're getting paid, I want to get paid.
Me and Quinn
That
had
exists.
that experience when we were looking for locations for Santa's Dilemma because I remember
yeah, I
we went
bet.
to a bar in Bragg Creek, And
Oh, yeah.
they
I
were
forgot
like
about that.
right away, like basically asking us if we're professional, which we're not.
Well, because they
So-
had apparently their bar had been used like many times for like big budget films.
They
Yeah.
want you to kick down some of that Canada grant
Dude,
money.
they
Yeah.
made us feel so small. They're like, yeah, so we've been asked by like big productions, so like how much are you gonna pay us for this
They,
location?
they,
We're
they
like,
literally
"Oh,
said that to us.
oh, you want money?
Yeah.
Oh,
At
least they were upfront about it.
But I mean, I get it. I mean, honestly, it was
Yeah.
a pretty nice bar. I can understand.
If like we had a budget for
course.
the film we were working on, absolutely,
I
that
would-
should be a conversation we would have. But
Yeah.
we were not in that position, and we definitely were just two guys hoping to bring some cameras and some friends and make something in
Can we
their
just
bar.
like film here for absolutely $0?
That's
Is that
an
okay?
interesting side income concept. Like maybe if you're creating a business that has a lot of, perhaps intentionally create your business in a way that it has filming opportunity built right into it. Because we've wanted to film in bars numerous times, but there's probably a number of locations, a laundromat, or
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not an actual laundromat, but maybe you just make sure it's really nice and consider the lighting and the decor and the aesthetic so that when someone is looking for a laundromat to film a scene in, it's just the perfect laundromat. And you've got a pricing system
Yeah,
already thought up.
I'm surprised you don't see signs at, like, if I had a laundromat or a restaurant or something and I was okay with people filming there, I would just put a sign in the front lobby that says, hey, if you're curious about or if you'd like to film here, call this number or send an email to this number. Why don't more places do that?
Ask me about film location rentals.
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised you don't see that very often. Or I've never seen that actually.
Probably more. And maybe that's something else with this accessibility conversation, because there was not so long ago that was rare. I would say it's a lot less rare now. I mean, just look at the filming that's happening around us right now. Calgary is getting voted, it's getting up there in ranks of voting for best places to film. And there's a lot of...
I see you read the article I sent the other day.
I did. I read the,
I probably
read the
didn't.
headline.
Honestly, I don't even think it was an article. It was just a little picture.
There's no
of
such thing as articles anymore. Just headlines.
Yeah, just headlines and pictures.
Could have said anything. I have no idea.
So with all that said, you guys are firm on you think it's easier to secure locations nowadays?
I think everything is easier when it comes to filmmaking, except when you get into distribution and actual, like if you want your film, if you want it to be a cinema grade production, right? If you want a cinema camera that shoots like 8K and has like a crazy good color profile and like it's an actual dedicated cinema camera. I don't know what the price. I'd have to go back and see how much cinema cameras were, because I imagine they were much more expensive. But at the same time, actually, I mean, there's lots of budget cinema cameras that have come out. I mean, look at Blackmagic, right? Like if you want production professional quality cinema grade footage, like you can get it, for like $8,000.
There's no doubt it's cheaper nowadays to film something of high quality. I would have to disagree with you guys on the location part, just because, again, speaking from personal experience, we were younger back in the early 2000s, so we didn't really have any experiences when it came to securing locations. But the way I see it is, I don't think people would treat it any differently than they do now. I think there's people that either want money for you to film in their business, or there's people that love the idea of indie filmmakers recording at their place
That's
for
true.
free.
They want to help elevate the filmmakers.
And I think back in the day, there was just as many people with that same mindset. So I don't think it would have been any different. But with that said, it also was probably a lot more time consuming to film in the early 2000s, just with the gear that you were giving. So maybe that would play a factor as well, because you can't keep a bar closed for no money for that long.
Well, we should maybe move on to the second question.
So with all that said, we've established that it's cheaper. A lot of things are easier nowadays. What challenges does that bring to indie filmmakers compared to 20 years ago? So like, what new challenges do we face today? Everything's more accessible, cheaper, but what kind of challenges does that create?
I mean, a lot of people dream of being a YouTuber. It was just the big names that you would see, like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Smosh,
Love Smosh.
Niga Higa,
Love them.
the classics. Jenna Marbles, those sorts of, like, you would
Shane
see some
Dawson.
people. Sure, yeah. I mean,
Not
names,
as big of a
right?
fan of him,
Big
but-
names. And you would dream of doing that, but it would sort of be, you'd have to really commit. It was hard to see yourself as that. And these days, people still do get excited and dream of being successful YouTubers. But the sheer number of them and the ability to actually build an audience and like focus in and pop off, like, there are way more of them now, for sure. And yeah, anybody can do it. And that is a lot of noise to cut through if you want to be successful.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of the biggest challenge, I would say, is we're living in a time where you're fighting for people's attention, right? And that's the name of the game. And because how accessible filmmaking has become and how saturated it's become, the new challenge is, how do you stand out and how do you overcome that quality standard that's been established?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem, I think, that like anyone faces as a filmmaker, is you can create something and it might be amazing, but someone else out there can do the exact same thing with the same quality, if not better. And there's probably thousands of them out there and already have their stuff on YouTube or Vimeo. So it definitely makes it harder to stand out, like you were saying. And it's like, what do you do to overcome that? That's the thing I haven't figured out yet.
Yeah, you can go on Marketplace and buy that 360p worn out junky digital camera and record some videos with your friends. But if it's something really good and you want to get it out there, how do you prevent it from being anything but invisible? You were able to make it. It didn't cost you much to make it, but now what?
And I guess, and that it's great that we have those platforms, because again, 20 years ago, or a little over 20 years ago, you didn't have YouTube or Vimeo, so you had to rely on like actual distribution. Like, I don't even know where you would get your film distributed as an indie filmmaker, whereas now we can just post it on anything.
Yeah.
But because of that, it's probably not going to get a lot of audience members watching.
Yeah, well, it's tough, because if your goal is, because I mean, really, there's like two routes when it comes to filmmaking, right? You can go the traditional route where you get a job as like a PA or whatever, and you work your way up and you make connections, and then maybe one day you'll be behind the camera on like big professional sets. You become part of a union. There's that route, but then there's the other route of being completely independent and then utilizing social media to like grow an audience and, you know, ideally making a living that way. The process of going from writing a script, creating the thing, and posting it or having it be out there is so much easier. But how do you get that thing noticed, right? Like that is the hardest thing you can to overcome as a filmmaker nowadays.
And you're at the mercy of the algorithm, basically. Like, it's not like you can just, I guess you could pay for ads, but we've tried that and that doesn't work. There's not really an easy way to get your thing out there. You're just relying on, hopefully YouTube, you know, puts this in someone's recommendations.
Yeah.
It is difficult to compare because we may have made some videos back in like 20 years ago, but we weren't really trying to show them to anyone but our friends.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
But if we did want to build an audience and develop something, there were other channels to do it. I mean, yes, now we have Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and
Threads and
oh yeah, that exists.
Blue Sky and whatever else.
Twitter.
X.
Twitter.
Yeah, I still think of it as Twitter.
Yeah, I just call it.
I don't
Twitter.
like
I think that's
X.
going to be like a
Why?
generational divide.
Yeah.
going
100%,
forward. There will be
dude.
people that it's always been Twitter and they'll always call it Twitter, and then there will be
Yep.
people.
Yeah, Zoomers are going to call it X, but you know, us millennials are going to stay true to the original.
My point being, there were actually other distribution networks for. Did you ever watch Channel 101? I think we've spoken about this
I have.
before.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, Channel
It's still a
101.
thing, too.
Are you not
I-
really?
Don't know what that is.
A couple years ago, I was watching it.
So Channel 101 was actually a video hosting website, and it was in a way competing with YouTube, but it was a little different in that it was all user voted. So you would produce the pilot to the show that you wanted to make, and you would put it out there, and it would be part of a given cycle of voting. And it was website viewers and users who would vote for which one would get renewed. And then I don't know if there was any sort of incentive behind it. It was kind of just a popularity contest for fun. You would, pitch a show. Maybe it would get picked up. And picked up in this context just means the users wanted to see more of it than the other 4 shows that were being pitched that bi-weekly cycle or whatever it was. But my point is, it was fun. It was different, and it was small. It was niche. So there were different places like this. I think you could upload videos to Newgrounds or You're the Man Now Dog or Something Rotten. Like, there were lots of different websites that would host videos, 4chan. There were lots of different places you could post your stuff, and it could catch on and find an audience there. Whereas now everything is kind of just the same thing. You could post to Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, but they don't really have unique audiences.
It's all the same thing. It's all reels.
Yeah, like you're not going to come up with the secret sauce to Instagram success. It's not a small audience there. It's just a giant rat's nest of millions of videos getting uploaded every hour, just like everything else. So I think, not that I was trying to become big and popular on Channel 101, but I do think there were different avenues, and it doesn't...
Sounds like you were trying to get big and popular on Channel 101.
I'm still trying, baby.
Still trying.
I'm coming up. Just watch me.
Shout out to Channel 101.
I think a big thing for me, like another challenge going with the question is, like, I like to talk about that quality bar, because given that it's so successful or accessible now to create whatever you want, everybody has a camera, everybody can buy a camera. The actual process of creating a film is relatively, I don't want to say simple, but like anybody can be a filmmaker nowadays, literally anybody. So I like how one of the biggest challenges now is that you have to find a way to make it really good quality, do a really, really good job. And the way you do that is by getting really, really good at the craft, right? Like being able to write a really good story, being able to understand proper lighting technique, and how do you make a pretty image that people like, and how do you do quality sound design? Like there's all of these things that you kind of have to understand to make a quality product. And I love how that's the challenge nowadays, is you just inherently have to be good at what it is, or at filmmaking to stand out.
But I think it's easier to get good.
100%.
So you already have the good quality gear. So once you kind of like do it a few times and figure it out, then you get good at it. I think what really matters is what you were talking about before, is standing out. It's like, it could be the best quality video, but if you have a story that's not really unique in some sort of way, it's not really going to land. It has to be
I think that's
different.
I think that's an impact that the internet and social media has had on people, because people's attention spans, for instance, are changing, right? Like the needs of the actual content itself is changing.
Yeah.
Even if you're talking about like cinema, like if you go and see a movie nowadays, the movies are not the same as they were way back in the day, right? Also, the run times are way longer, which is insane.
Are they?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of short movies lately, I guess.
Like what?
I think there's a mix of
Good
both.
Boy
right?
was like an hour and 10 minutes.
That is a very short.
That was like what they used to be in the 90s.
You guys should watch that movie, by the way.
Good Boy?
Yeah, it's a horror movie from a dog's perspective.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
And it was literally just a guy and his wife that filmed their dog. Like, obviously they had some good gear and whatever, but it was so good, and it took them 3 years. I think they started during COVID, and it was in theaters like a few months back. And it was just a dude and his wife. They just filmed their dog, made a movie. It was Shudder that was the studio.
Oh,
it was
cool.
just Shudder.
Man, I love Shudder. There's so many good movies on there.
I don't know what they've done, but that one actually sounds like it'd be neat to watch, if only for the novelty.
Yeah.
And maybe that's sort of a tell. Maybe that's something that you need more than just quality, because you don't have to be you don't have to blow people away with the great. I think there's like a minimum bar, And
Yes.
beyond that,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I think it would matter, but you could try and stand out because of the creativity or the quality. But you could also do it by coming up with a unique spin on things, like that was. I mean, that may not have been. I don't remember hearing great reviews about it, but that is something that would get people into theaters to watch it.
Totally.
Well, I think. So, did either of you guys ever watch Parasite?
Not
I
yet.
still haven't seen it.
Neither
That's
of them.
Movie night. Movie
We
night.
need to watch
We'll
that
watch it.
because I watched it and it was phenomenal. It was such a good film. Well, anyway, the reason I bring it
won
up
the
is
Oscars,
because
didn't it?
I can't remember what awards it got.
Pretty sure it won like the whole.
Can a Korean film win an Oscar?
Yes, it's like a world. I'm pretty sure it's a worldwide thing. I don't
Well,
think
that's
it
what
matters.
that's what I'm asking. I don't know.
Okay, again,
I'm
this
pretty
is
sure
not
it's-
fact checked, but I specifically remember, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm not trying to give false information here. I'm 99.9% sure that it won the Oscars the year that it came out.
We'll have to fact check.
No,
that.
it did. I for sure did. Not even 99.9. I'm 100% sure.
I wish I
Well,
could take your word for it.
fact check.
But what was it
Fact
about
checking.
Parasite?
We gotta fact check this first. We're checking if the Oscars, if movies that are made outside of America can win an Oscar. And by made, I mean like produced and
Yep.
whatever by.
It won the Academy
The
Awards.
South Korean film Parasite won or made history. The first non-English language film.
Oh, it was
to
the
win.
first?
Oh, to win Best Picture. That's a lot of qualifiers.
Yeah.
I think we can just say that yes, the film doesn't have to be made in America to win an Oscar.
That decides it basically. And I mean, that film was just so good. But the reason why I bring up Parasite is because that was one of the first movies that I watched where it was telling a story that I hadn't seen before, if that makes sense. Because if you watch a lot of films nowadays, it's the same story we've seen before, just with different characters, different places, different dialogue, but a lot of the stories are just the same.
The hero's journey trope just
Exactly.
rinsed out. And
Yeah, the same sort of themes that you see over and over again. And there's a little bit of that in Parasite, but the story was so unique. And that's why I liked it. It was just so interesting. And it was like you're getting to view and experience this completely different like perspective and characters in a completely different situation. And it was just really interesting to watch. And I think that's part of the reason why it won so many awards and why it was so received so well is because it was just like fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. The quality, like obviously, like Drake said, it has to hit a minimum bar, but beyond that, it's really just how is your story going to separate from other people? Like everyone does it, and we've all seen good cinematography, good lighting, but that doesn't matter if your story sucks or if it doesn't land. If it's not impactful, then who cares? Anyone else
Yep.
could do a good video with good cinematography and good lighting.
And every single person I think would probably rather watch a film that was shot on a T3i that has a kick-ass story.
Yes.
Even if like the quality isn't there versus, oh, I shot this on, an Arri Alexa and it's in 8K, but the story sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's going to care about that film.
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to distribute something that was filmed on a T3i, though.
It depends
You-
what
you
the
can't.
purpose of it, though. Yeah, but, let's start. Well, this is, again, going back to early 2000s, but Paranormal Activity, for example, that was just a video camera and some college students, and that blew up in theaters.
I guess that was in theaters. Well, nowadays with streaming services, that's kind of one of the biggest limitations.
But if you make a film specifically catered towards that style of film, you could probably get away with it still.
Yeah, you
like
might
if
be
it's
able
like
to.
homemade camera, like style, like
Like found
documentary or
footage
something,
kinda.
like found footage, like you could
but-
probably get away with it.
But you still have to render it out in all of the audio formats that those
There's still like
networks are requesting,
it's got to
right?
be 5:1, and I think the actual resolution of the film has to be at least like 4K
Right,
for
so-
Netflix.
So you can film the Blair Witch Project with an actual handheld, like home movie camera, but you're still going to somehow have to deliver a product that is up to 4K or 8K in
Yeah.
like 7.1.
It doesn't have to be filmed in that resolution. It's just the deliverable needs to be that resolution, so that Netflix can be like offering the different like bit rates and quality
Right.
options.
So you can capture it however you want.
I think so. Again, I don't really know, but That's my assumption. So there is that other challenge, I guess, with what we were talking about before. Like if you want your film to be distributed and received, or like on these streaming services, you do have to like be able to accomplish those things, right? And a lot of the time you can't do that unless you hire a studio.
There must be an AI-driven wizard to just take your stereo track and simplify, like make a simple version of it in 7.1.
I think that's called upmixing, and usually that's done by a studio and that's done by a mixing engineer, but they need access to the stems, right? Because usually it's mixed in 5.1 and then you upmix to 7.1, downmix to stereo, but you have to start, like the actual project needs to be at least 5.1 for that to be a thing.
Would it kill you to just take the stereo and mirror it on all three?
I think that would sound terrible. I think that would sound so bad.
You would.
Because like if you think about it, like if you're sitting in a theater and then like you've got your left, right, and then a center channel, and then you've got your rears or whatever, and then subs, then there are like sneaky ways that you can distribute to different speakers. Like if you want to get to the sub, you can just like put a low pass on it at like 200 hertz or something, and then like that part's not the end of the world. Like you're not going to get those impacty, like if somebody grabs like a sword and you want that like kind of sound, like you can't isolate that and then send it out the sub on its own unless you mix it for that, right? You have to actually send it out of that audio channel. But taking the stereo and trying to do that somehow through AI, there's no way that it's going to sound good because it just doesn't have those options available to it.
I shouldn't have said AI. That wasn't the important part. Just a simple upmix.
This guy just loves AI.
I do not.
That's a whole other conversation for a different episode.
That's a different episode.
We will cover it.
All right. So why don't we move on to the part 3 of this?
Yeah. So I'm not going to ask this in a question form because I think it's pretty obvious that editing is just better and easier nowadays, but I do want to talk about it because nowadays we have access to so many professional softwares for such a reasonable price, and most home computers can, handle any editing software until you throw in that 4K footage. Then you're going to need to upgrade.
That's a 10-bit 422 sweet 4K.
But I think, first of all, we should just be grateful that we live in an era where we can just edit anything at any given time, and it's just easy and accessible. But what do you guys think about editing compared to back in the day? Like, what was it like? Drake, you were there, right? What is it? Well,
back in my day, Sonny.
What was it like editing back on tape? Yeah.
Oh, you had to oil up your film trimmers every couple weeks, or you'd get a jaggy line, and that's no good. You'd never get them to glue back together right if you didn't oil. Okay, I'm done. I'm done this bit. So we're not comparing it to trimming and stitching together actual like film cells because none of us have ever done that.
No. I would like to learn how to do that though.
Yeah, actually, CSIF has.
They had a
workshop.
We got to do that at
film,
some point because that sounds really cool.
One of my favorite YouTubers, Van Neistad, showed a fun little video where he made his own. There's these Fisher Price magic movie viewers or something, and they actually have tiny little tapes with actual small format film.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we had one of those Fisher Price things with the wheels of photos, and you could stick the big paper wheel in and then press the big chunky thing, and
that's the one. It had like the circle thing, right? And it would like
it was a big wheel with different pictures, and it were just different pictures of animals or birds or frogs or something like that. Yeah, well, they have one that's a movie. Anyway, Van Neistad showed a video where he cracks open some of those and replaces the film with little home movies. I think he films them on high 8 or something like that. But yeah, you can just and buys a trimmer and glues them together. So yeah, there is a way we could do that just for the fun of it.
We should probably make a film with that.
Yes, 100%.
Schaefer Nickel did a series, just shouting out all my favorite YouTubers here. The American Stanza or something. He was doing a series, and I don't think he's finished it yet, where every piece was him filming on a 16 millimeter classic film camera. and just showing what I think it was just an experimental thing to see what he could accomplish. And they're all very short, but they're really satisfying. And I think that's cool, forcing limitations on oneself. As far as editing these days, holy cow, we are spoiled for choice, aren't we?
Just
For sure.
yeah, like DaVinci Resolve is free, basically, unless you want all the perks.
Well, even if you look at like Sony Vegas,
I never
People
used
still
it because
use that.
yeah,
I think
they
it
do.
remains like useful.
There's a lot of the time actually it's basically that one plus Avid Media Composer.
And that was the one that people used in the early 2000s as well. It was
Yeah.
that one and like Final Cut Pro.
But those ones, like, if you look at the software back then, what it looked like, like the GUI and like how everything, it was so bad and so convoluted.
Yeah, but
And
if you
you
look at
couldn't just-
Premiere back then, it was pretty rough
No,
too.
Premiere, that brings me to this next point. I saw this video on YouTube of this guy that found this like laptop, like a early 90s laptop, and it had Adobe Premiere 1, the first version of the software.
That's crazy.
And it was the coolest thing though. But he threw in a video of like modern day footage.
Oh god,
Just a couple clips.
4K.
Yeah,
Just
was it 4K?
I don't know. I don't think it was 4K, but the software couldn't have been more basic. Like, okay, picture like when you open your computer and you have voice recorder, that's what it looked like.
That's crazy.
Yeah, with like maybe a couple transitions thrown in there. And I remember he put 2 clips in and then he added a transition, and it like barely functioned, but it still worked. was
Corridor Digital did a video where they took Photoshop, like the original, I think it was version like 2 or something. It was one of the really early versions
I
of
might
Photoshop.
have seen some of this.
Yeah, and it was so funny because like they're all VFX guys, right? They know Photoshop in and out. They know like After Effects and name literally any 3D program. They know it. So it was
Cinema
really funny.
4D.
Yeah, Cinema 4D. So they're like very well versed in editing in 3D software and doing VFX and all that kind of stuff. It was really funny to watch them struggle to use this version 2 of Photoshop because it was so bad.
How old is it? Do you know?
I think the first version came out in the 90s.
I love that.
Probably.
There
yeah.
is something so
It
nostalgic.
might actually be the
though.
80s,
I
honestly.
think on an Apple II with the like Photoshop, just Photoshop, no numbers, was probably on an Apple II, the black and white all in one box. I don't know what the first editing program you used was for video, but I definitely started with iMovie on those iMacs, and it was so friendly.
Yeah, it was user friendly, but it did a good job. Like it did what you needed it to do.
Like the UI was not very efficient with your screen real estate. There was lots of big do nothing spaces with big round friendly looking buttons and such, but it did make it it was all right there in front of you. And if you wanted to do something fancy, then geez, I really sound like an old man yelling at
Oh
clouds.
yeah, 100%.
But
Tell us you're old without telling us you're old.
Okay, buddy.
Just kidding.
One of these days.
Should I just hit the V
It'll
hold on this?
happen to you.
Don't you
Should I hit
dare.
the V hold again?
This is
Don't
the first
touch
version.
those buttons. You are off.
Yeah, you're
buttons.
banned. You're formally banned.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. This looks like not as basic as I thought it was
No, so-
going.
No,
to.
I was ready for the Apple II monochromatic display. This actually looks legit.
This
like
is the first
normal.
version that I used. Actually, I think this is a couple of versions ahead.
Is that CS3?
This is CS2. But Photoshop used to have like a feather. A feather was its main like logo art or whatever. So every
You
version
mean
of
like
Photoshop.
like a scribe, like an old school pen?
No, literally just a feather. It was like a I have it up here actually. The logo. And that's what it's this thing.
Oh, that
I kind of remember that.
that tickles some kind of memory.
Yeah, when I see
way
this,
back,
it just like it brings me right back.
get a tattoo
I
of
love
that.
the way you said that. That like tickles some sort of memory.
It's stirring something.
Yeah,
within
there's
me.
something inside me that's just I can't describe it.
Okay, settle down, buddy. Cold showers.
Nowadays, editing is so much more
Just
better.
yeah,
It's so much more better.
so much more better. Well, you don't have to rent a studio. Like even early 2000s, I was just doing a little bit of research the other day on it, and yeah, you would have had to like rent a studio because it's not like your home computer could handle that.
Well,
unless
the software
you spent,
was so expensive.
and that's the
right?
thing, right? And then you had to rent a space.
You're going to pay for it.
Okay,
Which we all definitely
pirate
did.
computer.
Every piece of software on my computer at home is 100% obtained through legal methods.
Yeah, no, I'd heard that there were people, somewhere who who pirated software.
Yeah, I've caught wind
Who does
of
that? No one does
rumors
that.
of-
I never did that.
I'm sure people have done that. I couldn't imagine how.
I don't even know how that works. Okay, I have zero clue.
No, I
Remember
bought
when
mine at
the-
Radio Shack like everybody else.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
went
guys-
down with my...
Oh, sorry.
Now I'm done.
Okay, sorry.
Hey guys, real quick, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that. We talk about all things filmmaking, from editing to, gear and equipment and all that kind of stuff. So you won't want to miss out. Hit that subscribe button.
Get it.
I was gonna ask you guys if you remember the commercial that was like, "You wouldn't steal a computer.
I do remember that.
You
Yep.
wouldn't steal a car."
That was in a
and
lot
then
of
it's
like VHS movies.
that was the stupidest thing. It's like, this is okay. Pirating a movie, I'm sorry, is not the same thing as stealing a car. I
can tell you a fun fact about that. You might already know it.
I don't know
Oh,
it.
please
But
do
tell
tell.
me.
The song that they were using, and a lot of our viewers probably actually know this because this popped off and everybody was yapping about it. Short form content is bad for you. The jingle in that song, they contracted somebody to make that as a tester for limited distribution, but they never actually paid for unlimited usage.
Oh my.
Wow.
So they continued to use it
Hypocrites.
and distribute it on the start of every DVD and probably VHS for years
Did they just
and
get
years.
sued out the ass?
Oh yeah. Oh, that guy made off like the original composer of that music made off like a bandit because they were using it for this
That's
entire
amazing.
time.
He's definitely living on
without
his own island
purchasing-
right now.
Oh,
yeah, they didn't purchase distribution rights or commercial copyright.
Which company was it?
I don't know who runs
Like-
the
like who-
DMCA. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that's just the name of the company.
Just
but
for knowing that, I'm gonna go home and download 5 movies now because I'm so mad.
well, let me know if you figure out how. I'd always wondered how people did that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
no,
should-
I don't know.
Yeah.
We should probably get into the movie trailer.
Yes, we probably should. I do want to
Let's
get
wrap
a
this
little
up.
more
Put a
into
bow on it.
like details about the editing thing though, because we really didn't talk about it much.
I would say it's a bit intimidating, but it's not only the tools are accessible at every price point, but the double-edged sword of there being so many people, the challenge of getting your stuff noticed and all of the different people making stuff, it does make the knowledge so much more accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything you
And
want to
YouTube.
know, you Google it,
YouTube
you
it.
find it instantly. There
Yeah.
are hundreds of people who have
Yeah.
wondered the exact same question. AI be
And
damned.
again-
humans have wondered this and
Yeah.
searched it like anything.
And you didn't have that 20 years ago. You had to like go to film
Read a
school,
book.
yeah, or read a book.
Read
which
the
is stupid.
manual.
Go to the library and buy a book that teaches you how to use Premiere.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
I'm so. In conclusion,
Adobe
it's
Premiere for Dummies.
better to edit and learn to edit nowadays.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, because the software is cheaper. The knowledge out it like there's so many resources
Yeah.
to learn how to do it. Like even if you're talking about specifically audio and using professional tools like Pro Tools now has a subscription model. So you don't need to spend like $2,500 on a professional license like you did 15 years ago.
And the software and the UI and the flow intended behind all of these functions is more mature.
Yeah.
It's not just that it has those capabilities buried somewhere, but people have been using them and they've been tuning the accessibility and the intuitiveness of using these tools as well.
Yeah. Well, and it's like there's so many free options too. Like you were talking about DaVinci.
Yeah.
Like you can have a fully fledged like filmmaking, editing, production studio using nothing but free software.
Yep.
Like you can use DaVinci, you can use Reaper for audio. Like there's just the options are endless. So it's a pretty incredible time to be a filmmaker nowadays with all the tools available to you.
Yes,
Here.
agreed. And with that said, I think it's time we move into the movie trailer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, what do you guys have in mind? I don't think I was listening when you were.
So I found a movie that I have never heard of.
Found it?
Well, I mean, I looked up trailers and it popped up.
Discovered this new gem.
I discovered it, okay? No one else did. I discovered it.
We were here first.
It's called The Bride.
Ready?
Yep.
Can anybody help me? Please. I didn't want this. I didn't want any of
Guys,
this.
what is she from?
Please.
Upstairs.
Sorry, she looks a little bit like Madame Lestrange.
I was gonna say she looks like Captain Marvel. Is that?
Dude, the set design on this looks cool.
It's Warner Bros.
Happened.
Is this a Frankenstein thing? Oh, yes.
Oh, it's
Looking
got
like
Christian
it.
Bale?
What? That's Christian Bale?
Yeah.
No way.
You back to life.
Get on stage and I call her by her first name.
Good
What
soundtrack.
do you want with a dead girl?
I'm the same. Born from the dead.
Oh, oh, man.
Okay, this is looking good.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, this looks cool.
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
As well.
Is that Jake Gyllenhaal's wife or something?
It'd be hard to be a Gyllenhaal in Hollywood
be
and not
related.
be.
Are going to
Oh, so this is like, what, in the
here and it's
40s
coming
or
to you from
something?
the monsters.
Or the 50s?
Yeah, with that gun and that car.
Yeah.
Okay, I just love the fact that it's Christian Bale, and I gotta find out who this actor is.
Are they doing
I
a monster
know I've
mash?
seen it.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever.
The other actor, the cop there,
Please, I'm sorry.
What's he in?
What are you
he
sorry
was
for?
in,
Did you do something wrong?
I mean, you thought you might get
Jarhead.
away with?
Was he? Oh, and there's Jake Gyllenhaal, so that confirms that theory.
Stop right there!
Is that?
The dead have got something to say. And I'm saying it.
The bride of Frankenstein.
Okay, it is a Frankenstein thing.
Just the bride.
cool.
Yep, I'm into it. I'm into it.
I
That
really
was
like the tone.
Yeah,
It has like an identity to it.
it kind of
you know?
gives me the Suicide Squad. It's
Oh,
giving
okay.
me that vibe, but like more artistic and cinematic.
Right.
I haven't watched that. It was kind of giving me Sin City grit.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that. A little less stylistic, but like,
Yeah, well, that was like a comic book brought to.
Sure.
But yeah,
I
pretty
liked that.
mobster throwback style.
I will say, like, I'm not a huge fan of when they take the Frankenstein story and make a whole bunch of like they just take a bunch of liberties with it and do their own thing. Like I think that the original story is really, really good, and they just haven't done it well yet. And they need to do a really good actual Frankenstein movie.
I haven't finished reading it. I'm actually reading it right now, and I think I understand why they don't do that very often. I'm about halfway through, and I think there's been maybe one paragraph talking about the monster. Most of the book is just this guy on a boat who decided he wanted to go on an Arctic expedition, and then there's this dude on an ice floe that he just picks up along the way, and he's so grateful to make friends with him or whatever. But like I'm like halfway through the book, and
Yeah.
No monster.
it's spending a lot of time setting the tone. Bless Mary Shelley because it was really just a tiny short story that
Right.
she wrote on the year without a summer in Lord Dunsany's summer home. Lord Byron. It was just like a challenge. They were sitting around trying to come up with ghost stories. A famous poet and a bunch of young writer children.
Yeah.
It was something to do because it was crappy outside, and then this one was actually maybe kind of sort of worth trying to market. So then she had to flesh it out, and that's, I guess, what she did, is wrote an entire half a book about a guy who went on a boat ride.
Well, have you seen the new Frankenstein movie?
No, I haven't.
With
And I was actually
Oscar
really
Isaac?
No, I want to watch that one for
yeah,
sure.
I've heard good things.
It is like, we could talk all day about it because I just watched
Let's
it
do
with
it.
Sammy, and it is really, really good. There's a lot of things about it that I didn't like, but I think the movie itself is actually really, really well done, and I really like the tone and kind of the production side, like the shots and stuff. There's a few weird choices with the story that I wasn't super thrilled with, but it is so far, I think, the most accurate representation of the original story.
That's the one. Is that the same director that did Shape of Water?
I'm not sure who
Is it the same
director
guy,
is.
or am I thinking of a different movie that just came out with that director?
I'm just saying I would forgive people for not editorializing, but spicing up the original story,
Sure,
because
yeah.
ultimately this story was written by a 14-year-old, and the depth of the themes that she was zeroing in on and bringing into conversation, you have to understand the author was not one of the greats. She definitely wrote one of the great monster stories and started the entire fictional horror as a genre.
Yeah.
Very exciting, very cool stuff. Very neat historical piece, but I think it's totally fair for a director to put their own creative spin and breathe new life
For sure, yeah.
into the.
I think for me, it's just there's so many of them.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I agree with Drake, but the fact that there's 2 Frankenstein movies in 2 years that close together, it's like, we don't need to, I mean, that looks good. I'm excited to see that, but it's just, I don't get why they do that with movies where it's like, oh, it's big right now. Let's make 6 different versions of this movie in the next 2 years. That's where it gets too.
I'm excited to go and watch that one. And honestly, Christian Bale kind of carries movies, and
Such a good actor.
I would love to see. This looks like a really fun role, because whatever that Marvel movie was where he played Gore,
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that one yet.
he was the only good part in
Right.
that movie, and it was so good.
One of the greats. He's one of the greats.
Absolutely. But that one, as an example, it's like this ridiculous movie with ridiculous setups and powers and such, and then in the middle of it all you have Christian Bale playing this tragic, tormented anti-hero that is, when you can swap the
Protagonist and antagonist.
yeah, when you can swap the protagonist and antagonist in a story, and that's how they're well written. Well,
Yeah.
Gore could be the protagonist in a story told a little differently, and no, his performance was fantastic. So him playing it looked like he was playing Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it specifically because of Christian Bale. I'll be honest.
Him
the movie
playing- Me
itself
too.
looks interesting, but Christian Bale is now the main motivating factor as to why I'm going to go watch it.
We
Sure.
love you, Christian Bale.
I mean, the Florence and the Machine,
love
or
you,
whoever
we
that
love
was.
you. We love you, Christian
Like the
Bale.
soundtrack, the style, it looked. I hope that Florence and the Machine isn't the whole soundtrack, or whoever that was. Sorry, I'm not any better at naming.
Florence and the Machine. I was not even close to Florence and the Machine.
Who do you think that was?
The set, the trailer song?
Yeah.
Oh, it was some shitty DJ.
All right. Yeah. So
Probably. You can just say DJ.
I probably didn't need to say shitty DJ. It wasn't even that bad of a. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
But
Anyway.
I am super ready to see Christian Bale playing a tormented monster
Me too.
as a main character and really have some screen time.
Well,
That
he's
sounds
going to
great.
knock it out of the park.
So, weird movie fact.
Yeah, I think it's
Weird
time for
movie fact of the day. I think
yeah.
this is my turn.
It is your turn.
Weird movie fact of the day. I wanted to talk about Jaws,
Wow.
the original theatrical release. Before Jaws came out, movies didn't have simultaneous releases. So the excitement surrounding the release of Jaws and how it became a national sensation was in part due to the high level of quality of special effects and the talent and the music and many other things. But one of the biggest influences to why it was such a massive success was that they really committed to the simultaneous release. And I think it was 409 theaters simultaneously released that movie in the US and Canada on the same weekend. And that's why it exploded. That was the first film that really put a ton of budget into advertising. It was going to come out during the holiday season, but they pushed it and increased the advertising budget and copied more copies of it for distribution, and simultaneously released it in over 400 theaters, and it exploded and created what we know today as the summer blockbuster.
Wow.
It was not, it was not the first film ever to do a wide simultaneous release. There was one before that did 80 theaters or something, but this was unprecedented. And before Jaws, movies did a theatrical run because it cost thousands to print distribution copies,
Right.
and it would degrade the film quality, so you would have either an early copy or a degraded late copy down the line. So I was trying to look up more supportive information before sharing this, because I was sure that there was something special about how they chose to copy this, because that was unprecedented. 400 distribution copies going around the country for the same weekend.
That's crazy.
Well, this is a good
Unheard of.
opportunity for our viewers to comment below. If you know this fact, please comment below.
Yeah, or if you have any other facts about the movie Jaws, because I actually have one.
You have a Jaws
I
fact.
do. It's not
your
Lay
turn.
it on
It's not
us.
your turn. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm so ready for this.
Yeah.
All right, so with the
No, I'm kidding.
mini drum roll.
Yeah.
For the practical effects, because all of it was practical, right?
No.
It's Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. Steven
Right.
Spielberg.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
one of the shots, actually I think there's a few shots where this happens, where if you pause it at a certain frame, I forget which scene it is, but it's one of them that where the shark is coming in to frame. If you pause it on a certain frame, you can see someone's hand holding like the stick that the shark is mounted to
Okay.
on the actual footage.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Probably only in the widescreen version.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah, before Jaws, they just printed a couple copies and moved them around the country. So you had to pay attention to when a given movie was going to be in your town.
Man, 400 theaters. I guess I know back then it was different. but
1975.
That seems like
That's crazy.
low.
50
You know?
years old as of last year.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That just seems like a low amount of theaters, though.
Yeah, it does these days.
I guess I know, but even in the 75, like you would think that.
I feel like I thought they only had like one theater every major city. Like,
Dude, they had theaters in towns. They had theaters everywhere.
I
Like, it
guess-
wasn't that
right,
uncommon.
but-
It just not like today, but it wasn't
Yeah.
uncommon to have a movie theater in your town/city.
Right, but they wouldn't get the distribution copy of the new movie until months after it had been seen in all of the major theaters.
That makes
Right?
sense.
They would get movies eventually.
Right.
And there was a whole cycle of low budget B grade movies because of that very reason. There were lots of theaters that had just blank screens for so long while they were waiting for a distribution copy to make it to them, that there was an indie market back in the day because they just needed to put something up there, something cheap. So not 20 years ago, but a long time ago, there was a huge market for...
We should have been talking about that this podcast.
Well, we didn't have any experience, right?
Yeah.
But that's true. Before Jaws completely changed the game, there was an entire market for B-grade movies that were never going to be shown, on big theaters, and were never going to have some huge advertising budget. But they existed and had a core audience that looked forward to these movies that you couldn't see anywhere else, because they were crap, but they existed and people got paid for them because theaters made money and they needed something to show.
Guys, we were born at the wrong time. We could have showed our crappy movie.
Yeah. People would have watched if we released our stuff back in the 70s.
That's true.
Well, anyway, I think that kind of concludes today's episode.
We've covered it all. And I really, really want to hear everyone's opinion on today's episode. Let us know what you thought, what your opinion is on how accessible filmmaking is nowadays, and, share some of your struggles with us. We'd love to hear it.
Did you have any distribution stories from back in the day? Do you have any vintage home movies that are somehow still up there? I'd be down.
Yeah,
I'd watch it. Send it to
We could
us.
do a sequence on the next. That would be fun.
That would be pretty cool, actually. If you actually send us a video, we will show it in our next video.
Whoa. I'm not committing to that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, they could really send anything at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope you guys enjoy this episode. Make sure to like, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And thanks for sticking around.
Thanks for joining us.
Till next time.